Welcome to PX Multifamily, Multifamily's only audio-video people experience podcast. I'm your host, Mary Gwyn, and I'm on a mission to improve the multifamily people experience by improving what people experience. Tune in for content focused on how to positively influence people and impact them, your team members, your residents, supplier partners, and clients. Everything's about the people experience. This episode is brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network, delivering the latest news, ideas, and inspiration across the multifamily sector. Now, let's talk about the people experience. Ever buy something on Amazon or another online seller and return it, checking the box, not as advertised? Not as advertised. Since I don't shop much and most of what I do is online, I definitely have had that experience. And how does it compare to the resident experience? Listen up for the next 10 minutes and you will see. Today, a lot of this discussion is directed to your owner-operators, deal makers, asset managers, people who make the decision to upgrade or change an apartment home, or who ask us to demonstrate only the renovated home in marketing, or have pictures that are way photoshopped and altered before we publish them online or in marketing materials. It's sort of like someone you met online on a dating app and they definitely didn't look as advertised when you met them in person. I hear it's sometimes not even the same person. Not that that's a thing. Not as advertised. I've definitely had it from Amazon where what I bought looked way different from the pictures and videos online. Here's an example. This sun hat. I was going on a trip and I needed a waterproof, lightweight, ventilated sun hat. And online it looked light and cute and ventilated, but not so much as you can see. There's not a ventilation hole anywhere on it. So when I return it, there'll be the comment that it's not as advertised. Not necessarily the color, the shape, whatever. It's not as advertised. Well, it should never be that way. We should be really careful to make sure what we put out there on the internet is as advertised. It will be what our residents and prospects are going to get. You go and it's like you can go and look at a property that online, it looks like it was built yesterday. And then when you visit it, it's an 80s vintage property. In other words, that happens frequently. I recently had one of my team members visit a comp of ours, and the online pictures had this really beautiful pool furniture with all the pillows and lighting and the spitters in the pool with those curved loungers in it. But when she got there and took pictures of what we were comping, it was unnecessarily different. There were no pillows, no white curved loungers, no fancy kitchen area, but it was a beautiful pool. It didn't need to be photoshopped and all the fake stuff added. And why did they do it? Why embellish? I hear it sometimes from our team members or from team members that didn't stay, that they don't want to update the model unless they update the actual apartments they're going to be showing. And yet, often in this industry, we do what looks like a bait and switch. It's not intended that way. It's intended to upsell the property, to help sell the value add. It's intended so that the model has all the new and shiny things, like maybe it has the granite counters or quartz counters and stainless steel appliances. Then the apartment they actually move into has carpet and not the wood look flooring, and it has white appliances and maybe even an old laminate counter. And your team members have to deal with that kind of bait and switch or the fallout from that all day long when somebody moves in there and they're just disappointed at what they get in their actual apartment or the carpet's not the same, or and let's face it, our customers are already a little bit suspect of us. The news companies don't portray us as the friendly landlord. They portray us as raising rents and being the greedy landlord. So then that person goes to move in and they see the product they were moving into is not the same as what they toured. They toured what they saw online. And when that happens, the site team members, the leasing pros, the managers, they have a really bad experience. They lose their credibility. Not you, but they. They lose their credibility when that happens. And again, the customer already doesn't trust the landlord. And you, the asset manager, owner, investor, whatever your role is, you don't have to deal with the consequences. Well, you do, but you don't have to, the face-to-face loss of credibility, which is costly in and of itself. In the resident life cycle, though, the fact that the renewal started the moment they moved in, the moment they saw what wasn't as advertised, that credibility, that renewal started then. And that first loss of credibility, when the mismatched model and actual apartment they were moving into and the reviews they might post, and instead of it being a wow experience when they're talking about their apartment home to other people, it's a negative. Well, it all adds up and it impacts your investment. It impacts. And the first time they have a repair or something else goes wrong, let me tell you, that first time there's a knee jerk to already mistrust rather than waiting to see how that interaction goes. That's about the biggest smack I can think of. So how do you keep that from happening? Well, there are a lot of ways to keep that from happening, but I would say the first is by showing the prospect the actual apartment they would be moving into. Show the prospect the apartment before they move in. By showing the one they're going to actually move into, then it is what you've advertised. It's what you're showing them. But demand being what it is in certain markets, you can't always do that, can you? And labor shortages and the turn time doesn't always meet the deadline so that they can tour the apartment in advance. So what else can you do to avoid being not as advertised? One big basic way, one important way to avoid that is to make sure whatever model apartment you're showing is consistent with what you're then moving people into. Make sure the apartment, the model apartment you're showing, is consistent with what you're doing in your turns. Or if it's not consistent, make it better than what's in your turns. Or say you do have the upgraded and you have the quote classic, and you're selling both. Then hold out a vacant that's ready, that's a classic or pre-loved apartment or whatever you're calling it, and show the differentiation. Show them the model that's all the bells and whistles, but also show them the classic and upsell to the renovated if you have it, or if you're going to have it in their time frame. But don't lose that credibility from day one. Owner-operators, asset managers, deal makers, resist the urge to only advertise the upgraded and heavily photoshopped pictures. Don't position your assets for only the renovated if you're not giving only the renovated, but give your team members the ability to sell what they're really selling. Don't put them in the position of the not as advertised. Make your site team members confident heroes rather than feeling like they're going to have to apologize to their new move-ins and be on the defensive the rest of that relationship. And the not as advertised for our industry. Well, thanks for joining me, Mary Gwyn. Thank you for listening today. Did we accomplish the mission? Did we improve what people experience in the multifamily space? What are your thoughts on this important topic? Share your thoughts in the comments or email them to mary@aptdynamics.com. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. This podcast is proudly brought to you by Multifamily Media Network, your trusted source for stories, trends, and insights into multifamily living. Thank you again for joining me, Mary Gwyn, on PX Multifamily, the People Experience Podcast.